So in today's trade recap, I'm going to go over the trade that I took on micro nasdaq futures out of demand on August 18th, 2022. I'm going to go over the pre-market plan that I created for the night before, what I saw in the equities market, what I saw on NQ and ES themselves, and then also what I saw on bookmap, which is tape in level 2 but just in a visual format that got me into the trade. So with that said, I'm going to show you guys the pre-market plan and then the charts and everything else like that. So the pre-market plan that I had for that following morning was I was looking for a early morning bounce out of these demand zones that the equities had, as well as NQ and ES. You can see Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, Google all had demand lower in the market, as well as ES and NQ. So NQ had a demand zone a little bit higher. Now, when I did this plan, I did not see it, but before the market opened, I did see it and did draw it out. So this demand should be a little bit higher up. But overall picture, you can see what I had structured and what I was watching for that morning. So if we look at this middle chart right here, this is the trade that I took on NASDAQ. You can see my entry, stop, first target, and second target. And I'm going to talk about the equity confluence as well as ES and NQ confluence, and then I'll get to bookmap and show a live recording of why I got in when I did. So looking at the equities here, you can see Apple had traded down into this demand. Tesla had also touched demand. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and ES, all the same story. All six of the markets I watch for confluence, all hit demand at the same time that NQ hit demand. So that piece of information alone is enough for me to be highly interested in playing the market to the upside. Now, if it would be supply, it would be the exact same thing, but I would just be interested in taking the market to the downside. And for me to get into a trade, I have to see something on bookmap to show me that buyers or sellers are strong on the tape in level 2. I don't enter in based off candles. I get that question a lot. That people ask, "Oh, you trade off the 15-minute?" No, I don't trade off the 15-minute. My charts are on the 15-minute though, just for a simpler. That's a word. Just for a more simple outlook on the market. The candles just paint the picture for me, but bookmap or tape in level 2 is what physically puts me into the trade. So I'm going to head over to bookmap and show you what got me into the trade, and then I will show you why I took the first target and then why I took the second. So over here on bookmap, NQ is on the left, ES is on the right. While I'm trading, I watch both and I use both in sync or in conjunction to determine a really good entry. If one's kind of lacking information, but one's showing me something else, which is the case for this trade. So if I play bookmap here, this is what I was watching on the tape. On NQ, you can see we dipped down very nicely and got bought up, and we put in this micro resistance here at 440. Now on ES over here, if we pay attention to this right chart, we can see at 64 we have a nice sell order hit the bid, buyer gets filled, no continuation to the downside. We're also going to see another big sell bubble showing that another buyer has gotten filled from a aggressive market seller. So me just to explain this a little bit, when I see something like this on ES, this shows me that there's some sort of buyer here absorbing the sell orders, keeping price from going lower. Now, all I need to see is that this buyer start to reward himself, start to see market buying, start to see bids hit the limit. On NQ though, see it's a little bit of a trickier picture because we don't sort of have the same sort of structure going on ES, but we are putting in higher lows. See, this is the first low, higher low, and the third higher low. And you can see in this one, we have a nice sell bubble at the top. So while I was waiting for this trade, I was going to get long above this buyer here, because this buyer here shows me that there is some sort of seller at that price point, because for every market buy, there has to be a limit sell behind that order. So it shows me there's some sort of sell order up here. And you can also see at this time, we had some sort of sellers coming in here on the limit. So if I play it here, you're going to see price develop a little bit. I'm going to hit it 2 times, and I'll show you guys when I got in. You can see those 2 market sell orders filling some sort of buyer. And you can see we start hitting a bid down here on ES. ES starts pushing for that micro resistance. At this point right here, I was long at 443. Stop was down here at 420 below this bid on NQ. And then we speed it up a little bit. See, the market starts to tear to the upside. Watch ES on here. Eats the sell order. And if I speed it up even more here, see, the market just begins to move up at this point. So that's why I got into trade. That's what I saw on bookmap. Go over it one more time here. Micro resistance on NQ shows that there is some sort of seller at 440. ES, we had a very nice buyer get filled down here, 270 lots, and then 221, and they return back to the bid at some point in the trade. You can also see here that we also added more liquidity at the bid at 65. So again, ES comes up, pushes past that seller, strong selling above. I'm in long. Stop is below this bid, using this bid as protection for my long position. Now I'm going to fast forward the first target that I took on this trade, and that has nothing to do with bookmap. It has something to do with the equity. So if I pull this chart back up, you can see NQ first target that I took was at 506. And the reason I had took the first contract off there and set the other contract at break even on the trade was because if you look here, you can see this is Apple. Apple was really struggling to push higher at these prices. Same thing on Tesla, heavy wicks to the upside. Amazon also rejecting to break above high of day. Same thing. This is Microsoft. This is Amazon. Same thing with Amazon. And then same thing with Google. And then same thing with ES. Also failing to break and get above high of day. So at that point, I felt it was okay to take one contract off and set the other one at break even. I like doing this in my trades because it turns a winning trade into a guaranteed winner trade, and I can let the other contract go stress free, knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be ending the day green, whatever amount I closed out on my target. So the next target I'm going to go over is this 13,550 target that I closed out the last contract at. This one I'm going to, it was mainly bookmap, but Tesla was also a leading factor that made me want to get out of this position. So let me head over to bookmap and show you why. So back over here on bookmap, we can see that NQ has come up into 67, and there is lots of buying up here, but with no continuation to the upside. NQ also comes down and puts in a double bottom. Now, my ultimate target for this last contract was 575 because this is a high liquidity order, and in uptrending markets, higher liquidity orders will tend to act as a magnet on price as long as buyers want to go for that order. So I was watching this trade. I could see that buyers were struggling to push price higher above 568, 567-ish. And so I had set a limit below this order right here to sell my position, that if we break out of this consolidation to the downside, that I would be closing my trade out, because at that point, buyers have given up, buyers have lost strength, and it is okay for me to close out my contract and not let it go away against me and I sell it for less for profit. So I'm just gonna play this out here. Not much to say on ES. ES as well was sort of trading between two liquidity orders, 84 and 90. We're going to see ES comes up and touches this top part of the range one more time, gets rejected, and then slams to the bottom of this consolidation period, and that's when I get out of my trade. So I'll just let this play out here. NQ goes for it, immediately rejects, price then comes flying down, breaks out of this consolidation, and then at this point, this is when I'm closing out of my last contract. And over here on the trader view, which is what I use to log my trades, just to prove that I did take this trade, this green diamond right here is where I got long in my position. This is where I sold the first one, and then this is where I sold the second one. And then so here is the closed P&L on this trade, $337. Now I accidentally got into something else. I had left a sell limit order at 575. Price immediately rejected it, so I closed out for an extra 5. But all in all, up $337 on this trade. So that's about it on this trade recap on August 18th. On a Thursday, the micro nasdaq long out of demand. This was a beautiful setup. 6 out of 6 confluence. This is A++ with 3 more pluses added to the end of it. It does not get better than this. This is what I look for on a weekly basis, and I'm really looking forward to next week and to see what the market presents for myself, or the market presents to me. But yeah, I only trade the highest quality setups, and I'm okay only taking 2 trades a week if I know that my odds of success are very, very, very high. And I think that's what all traders should strive for. So with that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in on this trade recap. If you guys like this kind of content, if you want to see more, a like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. And if there's any questions or anything you guys want me to explain, let me know down in the comments below. But with that said, I'm gonna head out of here. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll post another trade review once I take one.